So since we are clear that emotions are part of our health, and climate change is a stressor, cause economic, laboral, meaning of life concern. Question for Mr. Felipe Miralles. How could artificial intelligence be used to make doctors and patients more aware of the role that emotion play in recognizing climate change as a factor that may impact our health?
Thank you. So, well, first of all, the last answer was very positive, Joima, but after today's seeing all these studies, no, and then you describe so well and with such passion, no, all the physiology of the stress, that I'm a bit eco-anxious now, no, to tell you the truth, no. But yeah, I totally agree that we need to transform this eco-anxiety into positive action. And here, well, tools, no, and technology can help, no. Clearly, this is a very complex subject. It's multifactorial, no. All the effects of climate change, of environmental degradation into human health, and in particular into mental health, no, eco-anxiety, is a very complex topic. Okay. And we need ways of understanding it, first of all, and the way of understanding it is through data analysis, fusing data from epidemiology, from clinical science, from environmental science, from social science, etc. And from there extract knowledge that we can use. And that we can, when you say we can use, we mean citizens, patients, but also healthcare professionals, social professions, and also policymakers, and so on. No? Mm-hmm. And what are those tools about? No? This means, for example, for patients, and we have been working already for years, no, in tools that promote behavior recognition and behavior change. You know? Being able to recognize behaviors and then trigger change of behavior. Yes. And we are using it to promote physical activity and good nutrition and good sleep, no? Yes. And so on. No? Well, we are adding now this environmental factor. No? If we are able to provide tools for patients to understand the different risk factors, how to mitigate them, strategies to face things, then we are empowering them to change this yes. eco-anxiety into eco-hope. No? Yes. Okay, and that's an example for patients and citizens. But then let's go to the clinical practice. Nowadays, in primary care, no, most professionals lack even the knowledge, because it's not in the medical profession, yes. in the medical studies. This knowledge. They need tools for awareness, for training, no? Mm-hmm. And for putting this training into action. Being able to stratify the population, the mm-hmm. patients, being able to identify risk groups depending on their geographical origin, depending on their comorbidities, so many factors, to be able to take better decisions, informed decisions, and go to a precision medicine, value-based medicine based on knowledge. And well, I want policymakers. Policymakers is very important to really make things happen, to change policies. Well, we should tell them to change things, of course, and demonstrate that we want to change, but they also need good tools to identify well those problems and simulate different alternatives, different policies, and be able to really make good decisions based on evidence. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you for your complete answer. Returning to the topic of emotion, one of the latest organizations that began working on this topic years ago is the Climate Psychology Alliance, and encourage those emotions to be worked on. It invites us to build spaces that allow for the expression and exploration of emotion in an attempt to reduce negative impact and denialism. Okay, then please, following this, Mr. Felipe and Dr. Jordi, please, how can technology innovation help us create these kinds of spaces?
Yeah, if I can start, no? It's important to distinguish technology for good and technology for bad, because it's true that data, artificial intelligence, also can be used in the direction of fake news, negationism, and all that. And for that, it's very important to join forces towards ethics, transparency, avoid bias, and so on. So that's very important, no? But beyond that, of course, technology also offers channels to go beyond the demonstrations. That's very important. Young people demonstrating their anger, their fear, and their hope also, no? But technology can be used to raise from these forces prompts for action. For example, and I will provide an example. There is a European project called Climas. We are participating from Eurecat, where we are building a toolkit to help young people through the use of design thinking tools, but also the use of data science, to go from collect evidence from these young people and provide them with tools to transform ideas into action, no? And this is through technology. So be able to act into the policy making, but not only with demonstrations, with our great, but with the use of data, collective work, and and action then.
Okay. And Dr. Jordi?
Yeah, no, I think you are talking about connecting silos, no?
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, if policymakers receive a lot of pressure from an industry, no, and they don't see the big picture, no, and they're used to it, good data and other alternatives given by technology can help, no, to reduce, to make it more easier to take decisions, no. And first of all, we need technology to measure. Without measure, there is nothing to do. We measure it, and the colleague of Greenpeace already explained that we have trespassed 6 boundaries, no, tipping points. We don't have that pressure, we won't do anything, no. Second, super optimism, techno-optimism is okay, but we cannot be like that, thinking, okay, one day a machine will reduce all the greenhouse emissions, no? Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, because this machine is already invented, it's a tree, no? Yeah, we will need, of course, amazing amount monsters to extract CO2 quickly, but with that is not enough. We need not only reduction attitudes, but proactivity attitudes. Mm-hmm. And that is, I agree with you, the technology can really help in putting the data there, giving transparency, giving opportunities, and controlling these actions to really go beyond. Because there could be a moment where really we could not do anything, even with the best technology, and I think we cannot allow that. No?
Okay, thank you. Maria, I have a question. The Sustainable Development Goals, the SID, and adaptation policies order us to reduce inequalities. For example, by eliminating architectural barriers, building housing tailored to the needs of the people who inhabit it. To what extent the emotions you want to provoke in the people you design for are guiding your work, the work that you do?
Okay. For me, the origin of every project is the person. The person in their full complexity, the space they inhabit or walk through must contemplate their physical, emotional, and social well-being all together. No? Since I started studying, I have loved talking about the spaces designed for the achievement of happiness, emotional spaces, spaces that don't exclude or isolate anyone, spaces where the focus is on the person and their overall well-being, no? And that requires a lot of listening and observation of each person, each different person. I believe that design and architecture also must embrace knowledge of any area that can lead us to a better understanding of every person, such as biology, psychology, medicine, of course, sociology, all different areas. For example, accessibility is essential to address all physical and cognitive needs. Neuroarchitecture might help us contemplate how each element of a space is a stimulus that causes something in the person. I think it's important.
Yeah, thank you for the answer. But where do you find the inspiration?
Okay. Inspiration.
Where is?
Yes, since the beginning, I have experienced the action of designing with great social and environment responsibility with a lot of questions. I feel that design can have a very beautiful capacity to improve people's lives as individuals, as a society, and of course, our planet's life. I think it goes together. But my greatest inspiration was listening and observing specific people, very diverse, many hospital companions fighting against a great number of architectonic and social barriers, seeing their difficulties to integrate into society or to perform daily activities on their own. Listening to the anxiety and fear they felt when they came back to certain spaces, the happiness they felt to be in others, or seeing spaces they cannot access. Maybe it's true that I feel quickly attracted, especially to vulnerable people. But yes, my greatest inspiration comes from people and their experiences, emotions, feelings, fears about the future, their impulse to life beyond adversity. And I'm certain that design has the capacity to take care both of people and of planet, of the planet.
You are right. Climate change must trigger moral emotions to attract moral assessment and motivation for a more sustainable lifestyle. Yes, I think. Which leads me to think that when people feel they can understand the science and the causes of global warming, perhaps they will have a better understanding of the activities they can engage in and to make a difference on the world, normalizing care for climate change and supporting more ambitious climate policies. Dr. Apaniseyo, how can we create these pathways that connect science, innovation, business, civil society, and governments to make good decisions about the climate crisis?
First,
Easy, very easy.
easy. I really think that, first of all, that meetings like this, like ours, is the first step. Here we are a lot of things with different attitudes, different knowledge, different styles, diversity. I think that Maria Lieto told us diversity. Diversity is crucial. And otherwise, it's important the multidisciplinary, the work must be done multidisciplinary and might be done for ordinary people working together. combining different point of views, perspective, etc. And otherwise, the other thing is building resilience for people, for communities, because sometimes we don't think in this community vision, and the community is really, really, really an important thing. But of course, this meeting is the first step.
Yeah. This is a community, right?
Yes, this is a community,
We're making a community.
a diverse
Yeah.
community.
Yes. Much of the eco-anxiety, we told me, it comes from the news that we see in the media every day.
Oh, yes.
We see news of extreme weather events often occurring far away from us, making climate change be perceived as a distant threat, both in time and space. However, the action and decisions that we make daily, what we eat, what clothes we buy, what companies we work with, our transport choices, who we vote for, etc., shape lifestyle that have an impact on the environment. This global perspective that everything is connected but takes form in a specific context is a major barrier to embracing healthier lifestyle. What do you think, Dr. Jordi Serrano?
Well, it's empathy. If you don't experience anything, of course, even if they bombard you with very, catastrophic news, at one point it will not bother you anymore. I remember that in COVID at the beginning, it didn't bother, but then it affected everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It bothered you. If you remember, 6 years before, we had Ebola, which almost touched us here, almost, no? Because we had some people working in Sierra Leone that came back, but it was in Sierra Leone, Guinea, whatever, and it was affecting everybody, but not affecting everybody. So if we extrapolate that into somebody or colleague before, say 70% of people will be living in cities. So if you have somebody living here and they don't go on summer or in spring camps to live or to spend some days with somebody that the climate change will be affecting their life, it will be impossible. So putting ourselves in the other's shoes is the first important thing to start bothering about the important news. And of course, the business, the business-oriented to dragging attention, for some specific programs, for some specific information, silos again and again and again. It's an important point, and I think government should put some tax breaks into institutions and companies that really look for positive, positive things. Look, there is some elements that need to be supported by governments. Call it like it's not communism, it's reliability. Because at the end of the day, to have a better ethical transmission of values from business schools to real impact into the real economy that must survive the planet. Because if you are, and everybody should be not applauding people who make only money, but people who make money ethically. And I think that we have enough resources now to push people to say, look, if you do money that way, well, and then the tax breaks should not be working for that people, and yes, for the people who make a more sustainable planet. I think we have the tools. It's a question to put together.
Okay.
Incompatible with having a fund that gives you money with pensions, or a fund that buys food in 10 years and produces hunger now. It's impossible. So I think it's clear, the attitude. So.
That is, the climate change affect the future, they affect the following generations. they will be able to enjoy a healthy planet and a healthy life? That's the second question. What do you think? Do we have room for hope?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we have room for thought, and this is a good example. No? The only problem is that the people here, we all agree, no? And we must go out and,
Yes.
and see and talk, no? And convince and attract, no? More people. I think the hope is in younger people. We have seen how younger people have a different
They
approach
have, yeah.
to this. No, there is an inertia in older people to think. Well, why? No, why should we change what we have been done all the time? But the reality is that we did this disaster, this catastrophic situation we are living in a short period of time.
Yes.
That's the reality of humanity.
The corner.
It's not that for the last 200 years we have been doing the catastrophe. It's been
the corner.
in the last
10,
20
yes.
years.
Good. At this point, I would like to open to introduce an important issue for the sake for the work in this area. One of the objectives proposed in the field of environmental health is to build models that inform us about the effects of climate change on health, so that governments can take note and dictate the most appropriate public policies. That is the question open another debate between centering responsibility on individuals or raising the need for collective transformative action. How do you suggest can we move from this individuality to the action, to the transformative action?
Silent.
Science.
No, it's knowledge and action, no, and people working. And I know we have very little time, but people working together and with accountability, and basically we don't have time. And yeah, I agree with you. We are in the anthropozone. We are not anymore in the holozone. It's been maybe 50 years, duplication of population, and we are out of the stable. So now it's everybody should be doing something, because it's not true that if you don't do that, no, it's true. If you do personal actions, it will help a lot, no? And then of course, press the companies for not greenwashing attitudes, no? And sometimes we fall in that.
Felipe told us before that something that is really, really, from my perspective, of course, is really, really vital. Is kind of, we don't have enough data, or we have data, but we are not analyzing them. And it's not only we need data, we need to transform data in knowledge, and that is the key. Because if you don't have that, the data doesn't work. And
Thank you. Paula is looking at. So 1 minute for the conclusion. I think this is a perfect example of where the links between well-being and public health, human rights, and socioeconomic development are so, and make us see that the transformation of cultural practice can generate real and significant benefits for individuals and communities. Take-home idea from this afternoon might be that the eco-anxiety is an adaptive response that allows us to prepare to face potentially threatening situations. Right?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you, Rafael. Thank you, people.
thank you.
Thank you very much for this wonderful table. Now we are almost finished. The next table is led by Irene Baño. In this table, we continue to see or examine how this motion can be transformed So, I don't know if you listen to me. So, Irene Baños is a Spanish multimedia journalist. She's an specialist in environment and climate communication with a particular focus in climate claim, related emotion. She's a regular contribution to the environment section of Deutsche Welle, Germany's international broadcaster. Behind her contribution as journalist, she also trainer, speaker, and writer, collaborated with various media outlets and institutions. In addition, she's an author of the book Ecoansias, Accionistas del Cambio, and Che cosa es la bioeconomía. Welcome to the panel.
Thank you very much, Paula, and thanks everyone for resisting this long afternoon. We are very happy to be the table that will bring some hope after so much enriching information that we've learned these days, and of course it's key to connect environmental health with human health, all of this planetary health. But unfortunately, as we know, most of the time when we talk about environmental issues, is bad news. So we have the pleasure to bring some positive aspects. These people will not talk about theory, they will share their inspiring real examples. And let me introduce you to my panelists this afternoon. We have Cristina Romera. She's a renowned Spanish oceanographer working at the Institute of Marine Sciences of Barcelona, where she studies the environmental consequences of the presence of plastic in the sea. And she's also the author of the book Antropocéano. Welcome, Cristina. Then we have Francesc. He's a farmer and agricultural engineer, also co-founder and CEO of the Regen Academy. He's also the author of the book Arrelats a la Terra, Propostes per una Agricultura Regenerativa, and he's also very present in social media, so we also have an influencer here. Then we have Daniel Turón. He's a psychologist teaching conflict resolution at the Universitat Oberta de Catalunya. He holds a master's degree in ecological thought and collaborates in a mindfulness program for youth at the University of Barcelona. In addition, he facilitates eco-psychology workshops on Joanna Macy's work that reconnects and collaborates with Teachers for Future. And today he's replacing Llorenç Witty that could not be here with us today. Then finally, last but not least, we have Sonia Hernández Montaño. She's an architect consultant in healthy architecture and bioconstruction for the public and private sector. She founded in 2010 the Arquitectura Sana Studio, which offers strategic technical advice on the integration of bioconstruction and health criteria. In addition, she develops her careers as teacher, speaker, and researcher. So again, all of these people sitting with us today will transfer or transform emotions into positive actions. As we've heard in this previous panel, eco-anxiety can be an ally to boost action, and we need some examples that really can inspire us. And it's very important to hear experiences that are accessible and scalable. And this is exactly what we bring today for you. So, Cristina, we will start with you if you want to come here also to start. So we will make it a bit more dynamic and be very cautious with the time because we all want to breathe some fresh air as soon as possible. Again, Cristina, in addition to being an oceanographer, you are a science communicator with activities such as writing your book. In your personal experience, to what extent is science communication important to promote that environmental action we are talking about?
Okay, hello everybody. I think it's very important that people is aware of that is happening in our planet. And in my experience giving talk and writing this book and everything, I realized that many times I give talks about things that to me are very basics, about about the planet, how it works, the problems that it's facing. And I realized that many people is not aware of this. They don't know about the problem. They don't know about the problem that the ocean is facing. In my case, I'm an ocean scientist. And I think that's why if the people don't know what is happening, of course they are not going to take action. So the first thing is to communicate people. It's that in the ocean science we call it ocean literacy. That is make the people know basic things about the ocean. But in the same sense, we could call it like something like climate literacy or planet literacy. So I think it's very important that people know all that is happening in order to be aware and take action. But I think also that it's important to transmit, well, at least it's that I do, transmit a message of hope, because if people think that everything is lost, then why are we going to do anything, no? So that's why I think, and in my case, I think there is hope, so that's why I transmit that in my message. And I think this is also important in all these speeches about the climate change and all that is happening in our planet. I think it's also important to give space for hope and also to communicate actions. Now, what can we do for our planet? And I think it's very important to make a critical mass of people who are aware of all these things and who take action and who push the big companies and the governments to do something, to take action. Because it's true, many people think that their small actions are not important. Why I'm going to do anything? But because I'm alone doing this. But that is true is that the sum of all this action, of this small action, can make a difference. And the critical mass of people pushing for government and big companies can also make them to take action. And we have many examples in the past about many things related with the environment, that when people start to complain and start to stop to buy some product or start to ask for that to their governments, they took action. So I think that's why I think it's very important to communicate about all this, and also to give a message of hope, and also communicate about what can we do, because many times we just talk about bad things about climate change, but what can we do as individuals? So, well, this is my my comments about this. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Cristina. So exactly this panel is about what we can all do from an individual and collective point of view. And I love that you mentioned the critical mass. We are 5 people here, but we will multiply into a critical mass. And continuing with that, Francesc, your work focuses on one of the key practices to reduce the impacts of the climate crisis, which is regenerative agriculture. I would like to hear more about that. Can you explain us what is it about? Yeah, let's go there so we make it a bit more dynamic.
Thank you very much, Irene. Thank you, Sol. I'm really happy to stay here in the College of Medicine talking about agriculture. That I think is good. Sorry for my English level. I will try to do the best, I promise you. And first of all, I want to explain you what is regenerative agriculture, because in the last month, the last years, more and more people, more and more big enterprises are talking about it. Now, today, there are two main ways to produce food. One way is to overuse the soil, to squeeze the land. And the name of these practices are conventional agriculture. And the main practices in conventional agriculture is to use chemical products and to till the soil to produce as much as possible. And this is that the most of farmers around the world are doing. This is that I did 10 years ago. I'm a 9th-generation farmer, more than 300 years farming at home, and I was a conventional farmer during the big part of my life. But what is the result? Today, we have erosion. Erosion is a big problem. We are losing about 20 tons of soil per hectare per year. That is crazy. We are losing the soil at the wall. Our soils are less and less fertile, poor and poor and poor every day. We are losing biodiversity because the conventional farming, and this is a big problem, as all the people know. We are emitting carbon. We are putting the carbon on the atmosphere. And actually, conventional farming is responsible of about 30% of carbon that we have on the air. And this is one way to produce food. But there is another way, that the name is regenerative agriculture, and is the opposite way. Actually, it's the opposite way, that conventional agriculture. Instead of use chemical fertilizers, for example, we use microorganisms that are on the soil. We use the natural microorganisms that are on the soil. Instead of use herbicides, for example, weeds are in the same land with crops, are living in the same place, weeds and crops, and not problem. Instead of use insecticides, for example, we are using biodiversity. That it's free, it's cheaper, or free, and it's best. And what is the result? The result is, instead of destroy life in our lands, we are creating life. We are creating fertility. But what is the best for the farmers? In a more fertile soil, we can produce more and cheaper, because it's the nature that are working for us. And this is a good practice. And at the end, what means regenerative agriculture? Regenerate the soil. So put the focus in the soil. The focus is not on the plants, on the people, animals. Okay, this is really important. But what is the most important point? The soil and the soil. And regenerate the soil, not degenerate the soil that we are doing for the last 50, 60, 70 years. And these practices have a really good secondary effects. One, because we don't use herbicides, because we don't till the soil, we have a covered soil, so our soil is not bare. We have not erosion. So we stop the erosion using regenerative agriculture. Because we don't use chemical insecticides, chemical fertilizers, we have more and more biodiversity, not only at the farms around. Because we have plants around, green plants making photosynthesis all the year, we fix carbon. But this is for me the key point. We fix more carbon than we emit. But we know now today that if 50% of farmers around the world will start to do regenerative agriculture, we can stop now the climate change in a few years. Why? Because making regenerative agriculture, we can fix more carbon than the people emit. And this for me is the main reason, because I'm here talking about regenerative agriculture and I write books about regenerative agriculture, and all of my life is about regenerative agriculture. Because for me, it's a solution. It's a big solution. And we know now today that in a healthy soil, we can produce healthy foods and have healthy and happy people. And this is regenerative agriculture for me. Thank you.